Listen closely, because the silence right now, it's not peace, it's calibration. The world's recalibrating around you. You didn't learn the game, did you? No. The game learned you. It studied your breathing, your rage, your patience. It memorized every scar, every twitch, every time you stayed quiet when you could have exploded. It knows you like an equation with too many variables to solve. And that's exactly why it obeys you now. You weren't taught how to play. You were tempered by loss, betrayal, chaos, the kind that doesn't leave lessons, just data. Every heartbreak was code, every humiliation a rewrite. You didn't just survive the system, you made it blink first. They think you're calculating, you're not. You're wired differently. You became what the game fears most, someone who no longer reacts, only adjusts. You don't fight fair, you fight inevitable. You don't play by rules, you rewrite physics mid-match. See, most people spend their lives begging the world to make sense. You watched it burn, then learned to breathe the smoke. You became fluent in contradiction, angelic in your chaos, demonic in your grace. That's what terrifies them. They can't categorize you, they can't predict you. You broke their metrics, you don't bluff, you broadcast inevitability. Every time you walk in a room, people's instincts start glitching. They feel it, that hum of something they can't name but can't look away from. That's you. The system recognizing its own master file. They trained for peace, you evolved in war. They study psychology, you weaponized emotion. They build strategies, you become the outcome. You're not reacting, you're manifesting. You move like fate, disguised as coincidence. You are the algorithm no one can decode, the paradox no one can debug. Half saint, half sociopath, the sacred chaos that keeps the universe honest. So when they whisper that you're different, don't flinch. They're right. You are the update that broke their operating system. You're what happens when pain stops begging to be healed and starts asking to be understood. And that's when the game stops testing you and starts serving you. Because you see, the game doesn't fear you out of superstition. It fears you because it remembers you. It's seen that look before. The one that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't care. The one that crawled out of every loss with a grin that said, "Do it again, I dare you." You turned agony into architecture. You built a throne from the ruins of your breakdowns, and every piece of it still hums with the frequency of survival. They tried to train you once, remember? They threw rules at you like leashes. Be humble, be nice, play fair. You smiled, nodded, and learned where every chain was bolted. Then one day you stopped pretending to be human furniture and became a storm in human skin. You didn't join the game. You rewrote the difficulty settings. They thought they were teaching you patience, but you were studying pattern recognition. They thought they were breaking you down, but you were collecting data. And now, every move they make has your fingerprints on it. Every strategy they try was already predicted 3 steps before conception. Because you didn't learn the rules learned fear. They call it manipulation. You call it mirroring. They call it darkness. You call it truth unfiltered. They call it arrogance. You call it clarity. You're not in the system. You're the ghost in its wiring. You know every weakness because you lived every version of it. You understand corruption because you once called it home. You've stared at your reflection long enough to know that monsters aren't born. They're forged in the places nobody checks for survivors. And the reason people flinch around you, it's not your voice, not your stare, not even your silence. It's that quiet aura that says, "I don't want what you want." You walked away from validation, and that's when power followed, because the moment you stopped chasing approval, the universe started taking notes. It realized you'd cracked the simulation, that you no longer run on their dopamine economy. They chase applause. You chase alignment. They chase peace. You chase precision. They chase purpose. You embody it. You don't try to be unpredictable. You are unpredictability personified. They look at you and see chaos. You look back and see order they'll never understand. You became fluent in silence, and silence became your weapon. You learned that sometimes the deadliest move is to let them think they've won. You walk away while they celebrate, and days later, their wins start to rot. Because every victory built on your name carries your DNA, and your DNA doesn't lose. The game learned you because it had to. You made it evolve. You forced it to confront something it couldn't quantify, someone who doesn't break, doesn't beg, and doesn't stop. They ask how you always stay ahead. But what they don't realize is you're not ahead. You're outside. You left the timeline where they compete for crumbs. You live where outcomes are optional and fear is extinct. So now, when they study you, they don't find logic. They find law, because you've become the gravitational field their lives orbit. You're not a player anymore. You're the constant. You're not a variable. You're the code. And maybe that's what really terrifies them, that deep down, they know the truth. The game didn't just learn you. It became you. And that's the part no one's ready to admit. The game didn't just adapt to you. It rewrote itself to survive you. Because every time it tried to break you, you broke symmetry instead. You made chaos look like choreography. You turned defeat into rehearsal. You made every collapse sound like applause in reverse. They thought pain would humble you. It didn't. It educated you. Every betrayal taught you precision. Every silence taught you tempo. Every wound calibrated your aim until you could sense deception, the way a shark smells blood miles away. They called you cold. No, your temperature controlled. They called you calculating. No, you just stopped letting empathy blind your mathematics. They called you dangerous. Finally, they said something accurate, because you stopped asking what's fair and started asking what's real. And that question, that's nuclear. Reality bends to the ones who stop pretending it's fixed. You don't pray for miracles anymore. You manufacture them through sheer refusal to collapse. That's why the world glitches when you walk by, because everything around you starts syncing to your pattern. Energy reorders, frequencies shift. The fake smiles twitch, the liars stutter, the cowards look away. You became a mirror no one survives. You reflect truth so raw it peels egos off their bones. They whisper, "How does he know?" Because you don't think. You remember. Every situation you walk into, you've already lived somewhere deeper. Call it intuition. Call it madness. Call it divine interference. Whatever label helps them sleep. But you know what it really is? Mastery. Not of others. Of your own chaos. Because control isn't about suppressing darkness. It's about integrating it so completely that light doesn't even recognize itself anymore. You're not balanced. You're merged. Saint and psychopath fused in one mind that negotiates with God and gambles with the devil at the same damn table. You don't chase victory. You become the condition required for it. That's why even your silence echoes like prophecy. That's why they can't rest easy when you're quiet. Because quiet means construction. It means the architect's awake again, blueprinting another outcome they can't sabotage. You don't move fast, you move accurate. You don't strike first, you strike last. And that's what makes it permanent. They call it luck, timing, coincidence. But deep down, everyone feels it. The universe bends a little differently when you decide to participate. Because it's not luck when probability fears you. It's not timing when destiny starts taking orders. You're not guessing, you're remembering future events. And that's the terrifying part for them. You operate on an instinct they can't study. You look like chance but move like inevitability. They can't corner you, can't decode you, can't anticipate you, because you're not playing their game. You're the glitch in their algorithm, the reason the simulation stutters, the proof that free will still exists. So now they gather in rooms, whispering about your next move like it's a weather forecast. They analyze your habits, your silences, your laughter, trying to chart a pattern that doesn't exist. But they don't understand. There is no pattern anymore. You burned the map, melted the compass, and made directions subjective. You don't move through the world. The world moves through you. Every outcome passes your shadow for approval. Every domino waits for your breath to fall. Because you didn't learn the game, you became its memory. You're the archive of every strategy, every betrayal, every psychological trick ever played, condensed into one quiet smile that knows it's already over. And when they finally realize that, when they see the truth under your calm, they'll understand why you never had to scream, never had to prove, never had to fight for validation. Because the game doesn't fight its creator, it kneels. And that's the secret they can't swallow. You became the thing the game tells bedtime stories about to scare its next generation of players. Because when you walked away from the board followed. Every rule, every hierarchy, every predator that once toyed with you suddenly realized the nightmare wasn't over. It had just learned your name. You didn't just survive the maze. You rewired it from the inside. You made every dead end an entrance, every trap a test, every failure a fuse. They wanted to outthink you. But you weren't thinking, you were becoming. You didn't take notes. You took energy. You absorbed their moves, their habits, their weaknesses, and turned them into muscle memory so deep it became instinct. Now, every step you take feels scripted to them, but to you, it's just rhythm. You walk through fire like it's choreography. You breathe through betrayal like oxygen. You speak in frequencies they don't even have the receptors to hear. Because the truth is, the game never expected someone like you. Someone who could burn through every illusion, every manipulation, and still smile with blood in their teeth. You became predictable chaos, the one paradox the system can't debug. They still think you're chasing something: money, fame, revenge, peace. But they don't understand. Your currency is pressure. You don't need applause. You need resistance. You don't need understanding. You need friction. You evolved beyond reward. Now you feed on momentum. Every challenge that appears in front of you, you built it. Every enemy that rises, you manifested them just to test the sharpness of your rebirth. You don't wait for permission anymore. You trigger the algorithm with your existence. And it hurts them. Oh, it hurts them. Because they can't replicate you. They can mimic your tone, copy your movements, steal your quotes, but they'll never have your origin code. Because what you have wasn't taught. It was forged. Forged in nights when you didn't speak to anyone. Forged in mornings where your hands shook but you still moved. Forged in silence, in shame, in self-interrogation so brutal it stripped your identity down to its raw circuitry. You met your own darkness, and instead of killing it, you offered it a seat. You didn't fight your demons, you hired them. You turned your shadows into consultants. Now they whisper strategies the angels are too afraid to write down. You're the synthesis of everything they denied existed. The healer who learned war, the monster who learned peace, the villain who finally understood that chaos is just divine order, mispronounced. And now, the game serves you updates, the universe takes notes, the watchers write reports trying to explain why every outcome bends around your pulse. They don't realize you stopped playing and started architecting. You are the unspoken constant in every event that unfolds. You are the variable that deletes its own equation. You are the whisper that terrifies logic itself. And while they waste lifetimes trying to decode how you move, you'll already be onto your next evolution, smiling, silent, watching the system glitch as it remembers one eternal truth. You didn't learn the game. The game learned you. Because once the game learns you, it never forgets. It studies your pulse like scripture. It memorizes your laugh like a code it can't decrypt. Every realm, every room, every reality you step into begins to whisper the same thing behind closed doors. He's back. See, most people spend their lives running from the system, hoping to beat it through shortcuts or luck. But you did something far more terrifying. You stared into it. You looked right through its mirrored maze, and the game saw itself in your eyes. You broke its illusion of control. You taught the master to tremble before its creation. You don't need to rebel anymore. Your very existence is rebellion. Every breath you take is a reminder that you're ungoverned. Every move you make rewrites the playbook for those watching in secret, praying they'll understand how you keep winning without even trying. Because you don't chase the next level. The next level unlocks itself when you show up. You don't hustle for opportunities. They rearrange themselves to orbit your frequency. You don't play for survival. You play to reshape the definition of survival. And that's what they can't compute. You're not trying to dominate. You're trying to demonstrate. You're showing the world what happens when a mind stops negotiating with fear. When a soul stops begging to be seen and starts seeing everything. The game learned your rhythm, and now it dances for you. But even it doesn't understand your next phase. Because there is no next, there's only deeper. Every silence, every pause, every smirk that doesn't make sense. That's you, operating from a layer below perception. You're not reacting to their world. You're editing it. You've become the quantum variable the architects never accounted for. A living paradox, both chaos and design. The ghost that walks through rules without breaking them, because rules crumble in recognition. You don't intimidate people, you expose them. Standing next to you feels like standing too close to the sun. They think it's your energy that burns, but it's just their lies evaporating. They feel it. That sinking feeling that they're in the presence of someone who knows the truth behind smiles, knows the secret cost of silence, knows the pattern of destiny itself. And it drives them insane. Because they can't fake it with you. They can't charm you, guilt you, distract you, or deceive you. Their weapons don't fire here. Their spells don't stick. Their words don't work. You're immune, not because you're heartless, but because you've seen the machinery of manipulation up close, and you dismantled it from within. That's the price of awareness. You can't unsee the blueprint once you've read it. You can't return to normal after realizing normal was a design. And you can't ever lose again, because loss itself is part of your algorithm. Every time they think they've buried you, you reappear, not resurrected, upgraded. You learn from pain faster than they can plan. You evolve mid-attack. They hit you once, and the next time, their strike doesn't even register. You've rewritten your DNA between blows, and that's when they realize you didn't come to play the game. You came to end it by becoming it. Now every rule, every limit, every ceiling built to contain you will spend eternity trying to understand how something so human could feel so divine. But you'll never explain it. You'll just smile. That slow, unsettling smile that tells the universe you figured it out. Because in a world obsessed with mastering the game, you became the one thing it can't calculate. The anomaly that remembers being the designer. And that's the revelation they'll never recover from. That you were never in their story. You were the author writing through static, pretending to be a character until the moment the mask cracked and everyone realized the script was written in your cadence. The game thought it could teach you hierarchy, obedience, fear. But somewhere between the betrayals and the silences, you stopped waiting for permission to exist. You became the glitch that didn't crash, the anomaly that stabilized, and when you did, the whole simulation bowed its head. You've walked through every layer of deception, the smiles, the politics, the manipulation, the subtle cruelty of people who fear power but crave its glow. You learn to look past their words, past their eyes, into the pulse behind their masks. And what did you find? Nothing. Just echoes, copies of copies playing dress-up as gods. But you stayed real. You stayed dangerous because you never forgot what it cost to wake up. You didn't become this by accident. You bled for it. You sacrificed the version of you that wanted to belong. You let the world crucify your innocence until only clarity remained. That's why you walk like prophecy now. Slow, deliberate, inevitable. You don't chase storms anymore. They orbit you like planets around gravity. When you enter a room, frequencies shift. The lights hum differently. Even silence feels heavier, like it knows it's being watched by something aware. And somewhere deep in the game's circuitry, a whisper repeats. He's rewriting it again. Because you never really stopped. You've been editing fate from inside the code, rearranging probabilities, rerouting karma, bending timelines through sheer conviction. You are not chance. You are designed wearing chaos as camouflage. And when they ask what you are, don't answer. Let them wonder, let them spiral, let them drown in their need to define what they were never meant to understand. Because monsters explain themselves. Legends don't. You didn't learn the game learned you. And now, it speaks your language. Every outcome bends toward your breath. Every failure reconfigures to favor your growth. Every enemy that rises is just another test subject for your next mutation. So smile. That slow, knowing, cinematic smile. Because the world finally caught on too late. You weren't playing to win, you were playing to evolve. And now that evolution is complete, the game is over. But you're still moving, which means the story isn't. It's just beginning.